Hi, Cancer. My name is Audrey Alison. Thank you for joining me for your August 2016 forecast for the month. I'm happy to be here and thank you for subscribing to the channel and for liking and sharing these posts, these videos, and also for joining me on my Facebook page, Audrey Alison Astrology and Tarot. And I'm also on Instagram. You can follow me on IG at Summer Jemmy. That's both astrology page and personal page. So if you're into that kind of thing, I wanted to start the top of the month. There's a lot going on. It's eclipse season, also Mercury retrograding. So there's a lot to go over. On the 2nd of August, Mars makes his transit into Sagittarius, where he'll be conjunct Saturn at 9 degrees. And Mars is energy, and Saturn is restriction. So the two of them are doing like a push and pull in your 6th house of health and work and daily routine, structure, the house of pets, the house of well-being. So having a lot of energy here in the health sector is great for anyone trying to diet, lose weight, get in control of a routine, a workout, a schedule, or getting personal trainers. A lot of masculine energy comes along with Mars if you're into male trainers. And then Saturn could see you having to deal with bone work in the 6th house, chiropractic work, joints, teeth, spine. I'm thinking of Capricorn influences because Saturn governs Capricorn. And in the health sector, you could have dental work that needs to be done. Something with the jaw as well, TMJ, or something happening in the teeth area could be tended to. When Mars is conjunct Saturn, there is a little bit of feistiness with Mars and the desire to do things at full speed ahead when Saturn's saying, take your time, slow down, don't rush into anything. On the same day, on the 2nd, we have our new moon at 10 degrees of Leo in the 2nd house of finance for you. So, Cancer, the new moon, new budget, new possessions, new sense of value, self-worth. And all of this energy is the catalyst for a realignment of your finances, a new budget, maybe a new place you're putting your money, a new form of resources entirely. So focus your intention at the top of August for manifesting more financial security in that 28-day lunar cycle. That's the perfect moon to do it, Cancer. Uranus is stationed in Aries, and that will be trining Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius, as well as the new moon in Leo. So the fire trine energy is in effect. This could see you leaving the job, changing up a new way you're working, or how you're working, or who you're reporting to with the 10th house of authority. And title change, status. You could be getting promoted. You could be leaving this job and going on to do other things for more money with the new moon in the 2nd house. So keep that in mind because there is a trine in effect at the top of the month. And on the 5th, we have Venus entering Virgo through the 29th of August. So this will be conjunct Jupiter in Virgo in the 3rd house of communications. That's a lot of expansion in the dialect, the intellect, the mind, the thought patterns. Jupiter is really helping the Cancerian writers, editors, journalists, marketers, even publishing and study, schooling. Not higher certifications, but 3rd house, local schools, small courses, smaller degrees. So Venus is beauty and harmony in this sector. So anything, the connection with your siblings and your neighborhood is heightened as well, and female connections with sisters and female neighbors because Venus rules the feminine in the 3rd house of siblings, and also the vehicle. And this trines Pluto in Capricorn in the 7th house of relationships. So there's a beautifying, a smoothing over of how you're talking to the loved ones, the spouse, the committed relationships, balance, harmony, aesthetic, beauty in the third house of speech. You're drawing attention to yourself just by how you're speaking to others. Very positive transit with Venus in the third. On the 13th, Saturn goes direct in that Sagittarius sign at 9 degrees. And we like him moving direct only because even though he's a little uncomfortable and Saturn can enhance the feeling of being restricted, it's always to tweak or fine-tune what needs to be seen in that sixth house, realigning the health, the pattern, the workout regimen, what you need to accomplish in the sixth house. Saturn can really help you with that. On the 18th, we start our eclipse cycle. We have our full moon lunar eclipse on August 18th at 28 degrees of Aquarius. And Aquarius is for you in a sector that governs the shared resources area in the 8th house. And this is also a full moon in your intimacy sector. So what needs to be seen for Cancer in your intimate relationships, or maybe the loaning of money comes to an end around mid-month with a full moon in the shared resources, or you're no longer working with an investor at that time. This could also see closure in someone's life. You could hear of someone passing with a full moon in the 8th because it's the house of transition. And this applies very differently for all Cancers. It's not the same forecast for everyone, and please watch your ascendant sign as well. For detailed, specific readings, you would have to book with me, but this is accurate as a general scope for Cancer and Cancer rising. Closure in the 8th house is what you'll see with an eclipse, and things can be eclipsed out of the picture. If your intimate connection with someone isn't really serving your highest good and your highest purpose, that's when you see divine intervention. The universe can intervene. Sometimes people can hold on to things for way longer than they're supposed to, out of fear of being alone, out of fear in general, out of all sorts of things, out of looking at their real issues and working on themselves. Sometimes it's easier just to deny there's even an issue, but I feel like this is applying to someone in relationship. I also feel like there could be an end to a inheritance or family disbursement of money at this time. Something's coming to a close with the full moon here. On the 22nd, our sun enters Virgo as well, so conjunct Jupiter and Venus in the 3rd house. What beautiful, powerful personal planet energy in your 3rd house of communications. That's amazing for people who are working in, well, there's so many jobs now that have to do with revision and speech, so it could apply everywhere actually. But for Cancer, you're the one that is really attracting the right people to you with Venus in this communication sector. So interviewing at the top of the month, the first 3 weeks would be beautiful. Before Mercury retrogrades, you don't want to interview in a Mercury retrograde because the speech gets miscommunicated and it's harder to be understood and to say what it is you're really meaning in a Mercury retrograde, and vice versa. People are not gathering the full scope. So do your interviewing before the 25th of August. Now, on the 29th, Venus exits Virgo and enters Libra. So the 4th house is then activated in that transit. That's the house of the maternal, the house of home and environment, the house of mother. So the feminine planet in the sector of mother. You could be spending time with her. You could be going back to the place that you are rooted or find stability. In the 4th house, the grounding house, the deepest house in the astrological wheel. On the 30th, Mercury starts his retrograde at 29 degrees of Virgo. So Virgo is extremely activated through the 14-degree mark, back through Virgo, from the 30th of August through the 22nd of September. So that 3-week retrograde will impact the communication sector, which is a double whammy because Mercury governs the 3rd house naturally. and to have the retrograde there. Wouldn't recommend travel for Cancer in that time period, which is somewhat unfortunate because I'm sure a lot of you have travel plans at the end of summer. But expect delays if you do. This could also see people coming in from the past in a Mercury retrograde. Maybe even siblings who have gone their separate ways come back into the picture at that time. And I say that again because of the third house being impacted. On the 1st, I wanted to mention September 1st, we have our new moon solar eclipse at 9 degrees of Virgo as well. And that's trining Pluto in Capricorn, conjunct Jupiter, and the Mercury retrograde. So the third house of communications is seeing something grand being developed here, and maybe a communication style that you are using or a tone is being eclipsed out of the picture, because new moons are fresh starts, but eclipses tend to end or bring awareness to what needs to be seen, and they open up a portal between the sun and the moon, and it allows for the subconscious mind to be downloaded information to realign the person. It's hard for us to figure out what is right for us all the time because the mind is so overactive, but that's why we have energy and the cosmos and God and all things great. Okay, let's get to the cards. I'm using the Alchemical deck by Robert M. Place, and I've been shuffling the whole reading, so Cancer, will see what comes up for August. And if you'd like to book with me, I'm at audreyalison.com. I read all through the week, and you can select your appointment there, and I will get back to you via an email if you order via PayPal. 10 of Wands, Cancer. Rising from the ashes. Some burdens that you have on your back right now, but burdens about to be released. Some of the restriction that you're feeling from Saturn in the 6th house can create that 10 of Wands, the burden of walking uphill. The 10 of Wands, even though in this beautiful card it's the Phoenix rising from the ashes, in a traditional tarot deck or a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's the man walking up the hill with 10 rods on his back, kind of hunched over and weighing him down. Reminds me of Sisyphus, walking up the hill and having the rock roll back down on him. We'll see what else comes up. This card to me is more empowering, visual, having risen from something that could have taken you down. But Phoenix fly, they soar above the scene. They don't get buried under the ashes. More fire. Lady of Staffs, Lady of Fire, Lady of Wands. That is about taking action. She's also a lady that loves the new, excitement, dance, creative expression. Maybe a younger female fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag. But we have all of that fire trine happening with the new moon, with Mars and Saturn in Sag, and then with Uranus and Aries. So there's a lot of fire happening in the top of the month. And look at that, creative energy. 5 of Wands, a little competition around you. But there's always competition in a creative field. It's a matter of how you hold yourself that discerns whether or not the competition is even viable. 5 of Wands. Wow, look at all this fire. It's time for action in a creative endeavor, or perhaps something with your children. Let's see what else comes up. You have 2 cards at the end. Empress. It's about the children too. For those of you with kids, wow, you can't really make it up. Empress. This is definitely fertility together, and the opportunity to advance or flourish in the fertile creative endeavors or the relationship with your children. Now, the 5 of Cups is new possibilities. These cards are very new. A little bit emotional with the 5 of Cups, but there's a breaking of position, which is eclipse energy. Oh, I see. Okay, so we start off with the fire energy at the top with the fire trine. And the idea that you might want to incorporate something new, possibly creatively, or with the children, becoming the mother figure. Venus in the 4th house of mother at the end of the month could see Cancerians wanting to nurture. You naturally govern the fourth house. You're comfortable with energy there, and Venus is a very beautifying, warm planet. But there is a breakthrough, and the breakthrough could be the solar eclipse energy, which tends to dismantle things at first, but you have to deconstruct to reconstruct. Interesting. And this could be movement. Some Cancerians are moving, unpacking, placing vases on shelves. Very literal descriptions can come from this card. Rearranging your life in the correct order is what I'm hearing. It wouldn't be what I would normally define the Five of Cups as, but I'm hearing that. Now you can reorganize your life in a clearer visual way. I hope this was helpful, Cancer. I'm wishing you a beautiful August. And remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.